Hi guys, this is Mrs. Hill. This is the fourth lesson in our story in our book this week, Antarctica. We will finish today's lesson. We're going to do pages 30 through 37. We will see how things unfold, and we will see how things end up with our enemies that showed up yesterday, just briefly in yesterday's lesson. So let's take a quick look at the questions. Who are the enemies of the penguins? I think we met them yesterday, but we'll further clarify who they are. And then in the last question, who comes at the end of the book? What does the author think about them? So we're going to see who they is and why the author included this portion in our book. I think it's been a really neat book about different types of animals that live in Antarctica, how they lay their eggs and raise their babies and that kind of fun stuff. So we'll finish up these two questions. We'll do a little picture walk for today's pages. We're going to go back a page to remind you of what we saw yesterday. We had a helicopter come. Some penguins running. They were scared and they left their eggs unguarded. So let's see what happens with these illustrations and these pictures. Looks like we've got a new animal. So if you look at these birds, they're attacking these eggs, and I'm thinking it's the eggs of the penguins because they were scared. So here we've got a couple penguins. They look kind of sad, don't they? Here's another picture. Look like this one is underwater. Looks like we've got some seals here. So we'll see. It's a pretty illustration as well. We'll see how those guys are doing. And if you look at this page, there's a lot going on here. We've got penguins up here on like an iceberg, a big penguin, little penguin, a seal. And if you look here, off in the distance, there's a ship. Looks like some more penguins up here. So let's see what happens as this new and last part of our book takes place. So again, I'm going to go back a page from yesterday. We've got this helicopter coming. We're going to reread this page before we go forward. Just beyond the nesting place, some men have built a base camp. So if you look over here, there's like some tents or some like little trailers or something where people live. I don't know if you can see that. I think the light's shining on it. Suddenly, the Adels hear a terrible whirling noise. Helicopters. They panic and leave their eggs unguarded. Scoss swipe down to have a feast. This is some type of bird. So kind of looks like a seagull, doesn't it? Frightened by the helicopters, the Adels will not nest here again. So the helicopters scared the penguins away, and then these birds came in and grabbed their eggs. There they look kind of sad, don't they? The emperors, too, are uneasy. They have heard huge explosions and seen ice and rock hurled high in the air. Out at sea, anxious songs ring out from the depths. Wattle seals call to their friends under the ice. Metal hulls are pushing through the pack of ice, banging, crunching, booming nearer. So it looks like they swim underneath the ice. The penguins and the seals have always shared their world with ancient enemies. The scuzz, I can't pronounce that right, I'm sorry. The scuzz and the leopard seals. But the new arrivals are more dangerous. The seals and penguins cannot yet weather they will share or destroy their beautiful Antarctica. So that's how the story ends. I think that picture tells us a lot. So let's go back to our skill packet. Who are the enemies of the penguins? Well, I'll tell you. I guess the enemies of the penguins are going to be, could kind of look at it both ways. Are the enemies of the penguins the helicopter, the men flying the helicopter that scared the penguins away and they left their eggs? Would they be the enemy? Or do you think the enemy is this bird who swoops in and takes their eggs? Gosh, it could go either way. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to reuse part of, we're going to restate part of our question to begin our answer. And I want to start this answer with, I think the enemies of the penguins are blank and blank. So I think there's two enemies here. We've got the men who've built a base camp, and they're flying their helicopters and they scare the birds. And then we've got these birds who come and eat the eggs. If we keep looking through our story, all the way back here at the back, it shows a ship back here that men would be sailing in that ship. So they're up there kind of their ships are breaking through the ice, making loud noises, and the seals hear them. Here the men are flying helicopters and scaring them away. So I think between the men and these birds, there's the enemies of the penguins. And I'm going to fill this one in. I have not done a very good job pronouncing this type of bird very well. So you're going to fill in this one. Okay, so you're going to be responsible for that one. Okay, and I should maybe squeeze the word "the" in there. Okay, so I think the enemies of the penguins are blank and the scaws. I'm not pronouncing that right. I'll look that up and we'll work on that for the read aloud on Friday. So I apologize about that. The last question: who comes at the end of the book? What does the author think about them? So at the end of the book, if you come here, it talks about how all the animals have shared their world with each other. Their original enemy was the leopard seal. Remember, he was dangerous. He was this guy way back here that was a ferocious leopard seal who might eat a penguin. So that was one enemy the penguins faced. But then if you come on all the way to the back, we've got the men who built the base camp, and the author refers to them as these new arrivals are more dangerous. So I think the men at the base camp and the men on the ships the author is sharing with us, they are more dangerous than our original enemy, the seal. So to put that answer together, it's a two-part question. It's going to require us a couple sentences. Who comes at the end of the book? What we're going to do is we're going to put blank comes at the end of the book. So this one's kind of backwards. Our answer comes first, and then we restate part of our question after we supply the answer first. The answer comes from our text, and then we're going to restate part of the question to finish out that sentence. What does the author think about them? So we're going to start the second sentence by saying the author thinks if you use the information in this sentence, the seals and the penguins cannot tell yet whether they will share or destroy their beautiful Antarctica. They will share or destroy. They are referring to these new arrivals. The men are the new arrivals in Antarctica. Okay, it's kind of one of those things you have to kind of infer and use information from different pages. So, what do you think the author thinks blank about them? Okay. Them is the same as the information we used here to complete your answer. So I know that's kind of a little odd the way I explained that. We're going to go back and review the questions after you finish completing your answers. So if you have any questions, you can let me know. You can message me through Remind or come back on the live Google Meet, and we'll see what I can answer for you if you have any questions. So thanks again, and I hope you've enjoyed this book. Tomorrow's lesson will be, we'll do a read aloud. I'll assign an AR test, and we will go from there. Thank you.